Hannah Field just got off the stage. We thank them again for being here. And I have Harry right here. And he's going to give his sermon and his talk to you all this morning. So please come join us in the big tent to hear what Harry's got to say, everybody. Yeah, come on, Harry.
Oh, thank you, Ellie.
You're welcome, Harry.
Hello out there in Hampshire Land. How are you all today? Well, I just thought my appearance was encouraged and required to offer a service this morning and to observe and reflect on a good many things. Maybe more things than that. And we're here to gather together and be of a like mind. And if you want to get the old-time religion and practice it and learn it in whatever way you wish to pursue, like the good book says, he who is among them and all that. And it's done better, and it's more enjoyable, and you advance yourself more in the company of like-minded people. Same like you can do things like eating or practicing sports or stuff like that is much better done in a group. Of course, that doesn't mean every activity is done better that way. And again, I might be speaking in biblical proportions. But I can only, for the most part, reflect on my personal experience. And my personal experience about the religion goes all the way from the old-time religion to the days of in the days of yore to the present times, and in between there was the fear in the times of revolutionary development, and the question would come back to us: is God dead? Is God dead? And but then as our generation got older, and some of us had some close scrapes with the Almighty, the religion was coming back to bite us a little bit. And for some of us, we found that perhaps in our younger years we didn't believe in a divine deity, or we didn't believe in God. But in our latter years, we've had more of perhaps you could say we've had more of a relationship with God. And not to mention, for my part, I owe my life to the competent and spiritual osteopath of Dr. Justin Zulak and his medical practice, which includes the cannabis and Reiki on touch, hand manipulation of the body, and there is the difference between the homeopath, as Dr. Zulak is a homeopath, and that is an avenue of the medical profession that would find the powers and the magic of healing herbs of any color or stripe. Any sort of healing herb would be of use for any number of reasons, and the medical herb we consider our God-given seed-bearing herb. And it's only been in the 20th century, which some people call the American century. It's only been in the American century that there's ever been any prohibition of the herb. And as sure as the herb could be our saving grace in the coming environmental economic crisis, So the herb is there as a for us as a guide. It is our spirit guide. And if it all makes sense to me, there's that sense of the Eastern religions, where it is said, the Guru comes to the one who is ready. The Guru comes to the one who is ready. And that means a little bit like if you've been thinking about a screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver or a 3/8 inch wrench, and then there it is right in front of you. But faith is the evidence of things not seen. Hope is the substance of things longed for. Faith, what is faith? Faith is absolutely a different thing to different people, but I know that's one I go by. Faith is the evidence of things not seen, and hope is the substance of things longed for. And well, that's a little bit like that and a dime will get you a cup of coffee. It's a little bit about where it's common to the expression that boredom is the fate of the lonesome cowpoke, ennui the lot of the jaded croupier. And back to the God-giving seed-bearing herb, cannabis. We are here today and this weekend at my farm, at the Harry Brown Farm, to bear witness to an act of God, or if you will, the supreme being of beneficent divine providence has given us the the seed-bearing herb, cannabis, and it is a little bit like the plant that caused us to distinguish good and evil. And in the faith way, I view it as akin to the dilemma of eternally facing the Jewish people, which being also from Connecticut, I have I've had some dealings with the Jewish people, but they have the Jewish people for millennia. They have been in their diaspora, and they are stateless. There are Jewish populations in North America and different countries in Europe, and the Jewish populations are everywhere across the world, but they never had their own state. And they saw it only, and they didn't have a state that was theirs and that they belonged to. And wherever they went, they kept their own language and their own customs, and they didn't really immigrate with the other people, the Jewish populations. And they were resented and they were resented and feared and bad-mouthed and otherwise, physically attacked for being Jews and for being different than what you could say, or perhaps those people would think that they were more native and were more by this Almighty entitled to some God-given rights and privileges, and so that they were maybe better than the Jews. But no, it was more than that. It was they had a fear and loathing for the very idea that the Jewish people there were better than them. And that those same Jewish people were thinking that they were better than them because of the face of it. The Jewish minority populations in those different countries, they're not making the imperial capitalist wars of aggression in other countries. They're not ruling and ruining the economy. And yet it's the minority groups that almost invariably suffer the persecution, and the reefer smokers around the world. I count them among this, and I'm here today to name those and hold them to account. The ones the ones whose religious extremism makes them what they are, and that's what I maintain is that the enmity, the animosity that's there is from fear that, say them, straight arrow, straight people. See, they think that we think we're better than them. So for that, they fear and loathe and despise and condemn and assault and imprison and worse us. And it doesn't have to be that way. But like the good book says, love thy neighbor as thyself, and surely goodness and mercy will follow you all the days of your life. But it just keeps getting harder every day. And blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness' sake, for theirs shall be the kingdom of heaven. And this is a thirst and a hunger that is within you, and that is within all of us, is, well, it might have been called back in the day a search for identity. It's back in the day, people, and you know what I'm talking about, you people years back there, it was, and we all had it, it was part of our stage of development growing up, an identity crisis. Growing up, coming of age and maturing and going through the stages of development. Back in the day, everybody, you were supposed to have an identity crisis, and that was part of that is God really dead thing. But in fact, it makes really little or no difference if God is dead or not, because the God that you have is a personal God, but that in no way is no way to reflect like God disparagingly on the miracle of creation and the miracle of unfolding creation that we today are a part of, and is our God the God of the utterly indifferent, or is our God like a Jewish God? It seems like the most alarming development, aside from religion, is that it seems to me in these days is the growing disparity between one religion and another, and the extremism taken over. And in my opinion, it's due to the policy of the State Department of this country, and they'll go into just about anywhere in the whole world with their. I'm talking about. Yeah, you heard me. I'm talking about this country, the world's last superpower, and they'll go in just about anywhere in the world, and they call it, and it's counterinsurgency. And the earliest stage of it is constructive engagement. And do you know what constructive engagement is? That's the counterintelligence early stage of the programs of the secret intelligence agencies, where they nullify, and they go into a country, and they destroy they devalue the currency, they export the jobs, they pollute the environment, they put off rail or marginalize or prosecute or shoot dead anybody who presents like the possibility of a popular front, or of representing the people and the needs of the people. and it is them today who have got to be found out. Or it is those of us who, regardless of what I said, I think it's one of the politically today. I think it's one of the great offenses that I take offense at. is that the Obama administration allowed the war criminals and the Wall Street criminals to walk. They didn't investigate them. They didn't indict them. They didn't plea bargain with them. They didn't bring them to trial. They didn't send them to prison to be rehabilitated. And that can only mean that they're going to do it again, and that they already are doing it again. And if you believe what our now President Obama said in the years that he was candidate Obama, you were for sure a creature of faith back then, for President Obama has not lived up to most of his promises that he gave to the American people. And this is brings to mind the larger picture, and this is a dilemma that faces us all, and that is that ours